Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our preview for The Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Episode 6. This episode is titled Surprise, which Dokes will always be surprised. There will be no other television character in history that can say that line and will make me feel a different way. But we're at a pivotal point here. There's not that much of the show left. And based on how episode 5 ended, I think we kind of know where this episode has to start.
Yeah, I mean, we saw June and Moira getting into Lawrence's trunk. Lawrence just learned some very important information about what his future is going to look like up on the wall after New Bethlehem brings back all the people that left, as well as getting new countries on board with Gilead. Then they are going to shut the borders. They're going to shutter New Bethlehem, and we're going to see Lawrence be the fall guy. Now that he knows that, he's got June, who is somebody extremely important to Gilead. I'm just like, which way is he going to go? Is he going to help her? Is he going to get her to help him? We'll see.
Yeah, and in this preview, we're going to dive into the synopsis. We're going to talk a little bit about, okay, what are we expecting from each character at this point? Because I think there's a lot of big decisions that are worth diving into here.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yeah, we have so much to talk about with The Handmaid's Tale. We have theories, previews, reactions. This is also a very, very busy week here at the channel because we have the premiere of You Season 5 on Netflix. We're diving into that. We have The Last of Us coverage. And if you guys missed it, it was officially announced today when Wednesday Season 2 is going to be premiering on Netflix. And we have a video where we break down everything we know about this upcoming season. We highly suggest you check that out as well.
Yeah, so hit that subscribe button. We also have Dexter Resurrection coming up, Alien Earth this summer, all kinds of good stuff. And we are going to be covering Wednesday Season 2 as well this summer. Also, you can follow us over on our Patreon if you want to check out our reviews for Criminal Minds Evolution Season 3 that is coming up, as well as Murderbot on Apple TV Plus. We're very excited about it. It's the only place that you can get those video reviews. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined. It helps us a lot.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate that.
Okay, let's get into this amazing synopsis that tells us so much about this episode. Here it is, guys. Buckle up. June hides in an unexpected place.
Surprise. Like that's the surprise and how little they're actually giving us. Now,
I know.
But I don't think it takes some like mass extrapolation here to figure out that, okay, this unexpected place, it can't just be the trunk of Lawrence's car. It's like, they're not going to have her and Moira in there for an entire hour. I think it's pretty clear it has to be New Bethlehem at this point because it's like, where else is Lawrence going to go?
Yeah, and I mean, there's a couple of options there that would be really surprising. And the most surprising would be Nick and Rose's house. And I feel like Nick would absolutely take her in, but at the same time, Rose would not be okay with this, or would she? It's very difficult to know at this point, but that would be the most surprising to me. If it was like, oh, she's staying at Nick's basement, I'd be like, how is that coming together?
I think if you are in the camp of the Handmaid's Tale viewers who just want things to be as romantically messy as humanly possible, the idea of June and Moira without Luke around, and we'll get more into Luke a little bit later here, but that she's going to be staying with Nick, with Rose there, with also High Commander Wharton around, like, that is supremely tricky and complicated because I think there's a few different things you have to wonder about here. Like, number one, okay, if June is being harbored, whether it is at Nick's place or somewhere else in New Bethlehem, like, what is she going to do? I mean, they say that she's hiding, and it almost feels like she has to, because you could try to make some sort of argument that she's here to help speak for New Bethlehem and make the New Bethlehem a better place, but it's just like, because of everything she's gone through, there's going to be so much distrust around her from people who are more Team Gilead in New Bethlehem, because we know that there are people even there still clinging to the old ways.
June is on the most wanted list. She absolutely has to be after everything that happened with that plane. So I think it's going to be pretty difficult to just have her running around New Bethlehem unless they are forcing her to have like a full recant of everything she has said. She doesn't believe that anymore. She is fully on board with everything.
Yeah.
That would be a huge get for Gilead if they can turn her around in that kind of way to be like, yeah, I was the face of the rebellion, but I'm back and I believe. If they can get her to say those things, it could easily keep her off the wall, which she should have long been on the wall, but she's been able to escape, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if she's hiding in an unexpected place, it's not Lawrence's house.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it is easy for at least me to sit here and assume. It's like, okay, it has to be Lawrence's house, right? Because he's going to want a measure of control.
Right.
And, he has his own motive now to try to get away from certain death. But it's kind of that's the expected place. It would make a little bit more sense for Lawrence if he is like, okay, you know what? I do want to kind of keep tabs on you, but I am also in a high trafficked place here. There are people who are going to be coming to and from, and eventually you don't want another commander in there being like, what's that noise? There's only so many times that Lawrence can say, oh, I'm having a rat problem. It's just like you have to find some other place to store her and Moira. We're talking about two different people here.
Yeah, another place that's not unexpected but could be interesting is Serena's place. I mean, Serena and June have a really complicated relationship.
Yeah.
They have hurt each other, they have helped each other. Would Serena help June in this case? Maybe. I mean, I feel like she would want to help her, but at the same time, she's in such a tricky spot now. She is engaged to Commander Wharton. If he finds out what's going on, I mean, it could be bad. Wharton is just such a complicated enigma at this point. I think a lot of us think that he's the villain of the story and he's really behind everything that's happening. This honey trap of, oh, New Bethlehem, it's this great place, everybody on board. Okay, now we're closing the borders. But what if he's like an inside guy with, the rebellion or Mayday or something else that's going on? He's just this guy I just can't really figure out.
I think the problem is that Josh Charles is so charming an actor that you can look at him and you're just gonna like, okay, Mr. Handsome, you wouldn't do anything to hurt us. And I think that's where this show is getting into this interesting place. Because he wasn't there for the whole trickery when it comes to Lawrence and New Bethlehem conversation. It's like he doesn't know, at least on paper, what some of the other commanders might be talking about, but he might very well. But because we don't know where he stands, that makes June being around Serena a difficult proposition here. Like, I think all of us want to see, obviously, Elizabeth and Yvonne have more scenes together because they are sort of these diametric poles at the center of this show. Like, they have to be drawn to each other just like they're drawn away from each other. And I do think they're going to have a scene in this episode, but I think one of the other things that's so kind of tied into this notion of, okay, a hiding place is just how long can June really stay in New Bethlehem in the first place? Because it could just be like a temporary way station for her, because the longer she's there, the more that she's going to be in trouble, unless she can actually find someone who is willing to harbor her long term and willing to actually work with Mayday. And once again, that might be Lawrence, but Lawrence can't really afford the risk to have her be at his place. Like, this is a very risk averse individual.
Yeah, I just feel like there's going to be a commander or a high commander that is going to end up turning. And the obvious person is Lawrence at this point, because he kind of doesn't really have a lot of choice. He already has been a commander in a position where he's basically being pushed into committing the ceremony with his wife there that he had promised was never going to happen. Other commanders are forcing him into it. He doesn't have the power that he thought that he did. He doesn't have people in the corner that he thought that he did. So what really are his choices? He can just try to play it out and find a way to switch the vote at the end here. Like, he's got 3 or 4 years. Is that enough time to turn something around? Or is he going to have to just straight up be part of Mayday, try to find a way to work with Nick, work with June, figure something else out?
I think he has to pick a side at this point. I don't know how you can
It's
continue
time.
to straddle a fence when you know that your life is on the line if you go in this one direction. You are running out of time, Lawrence. I expect in this episode we're going to get a pretty clear sense as to where he stands.
Yeah.
But the two other like really big questions I have entering this episode at this point is number one, what's going to happen with Luke? Because Luke's not in a good spot at this point. He's not being carted off to safety by Commander Lawrence. He was hurt seemingly pretty badly at the end of episode 5. And so my worst case scenario here, like my biggest fear, is that someone's going to figure out everything with him and basically just keep him prisoner. And then June finds herself in this situation where like his health or his safety could be used as some sort of negotiation so that maybe she can get him out, but there's going to be some other really terrible things that happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question with Luke, right? Because as famous as June is, or infamous as June is here in Gilead, they're gonna know who she's married to. I feel like they have intel on June's life, who she's married to, kind of what's going on. They've got people in Canada that they're feeding them information as well. I mean, Gilead is starting to spread throughout Canada as well. So is Luke really that safe?
I don't think he is. And this is why there is a big part of me. I'm not saying this because I want to. I'm just making that very clear. There is a big part of me that feels like, okay, we might have to lose a character on this upcoming episode. And I don't want it. I don't want it to be Luke. And I was wrong because I said that Janine was going to die in this past episode. So
maybe they're going to trick us that it was last episode was called Janine and she did not die so that they could come into this episode and be like, gotcha, it's this episode, which I hope not.
I hope not too, but I'm worried about that as well because this is the other big question right now is like what's happening with Jezebel's now because ultimately there was everything that transpired. I think people are going to start talking. There's going to be conversations around there. And ultimately, are we looking at a situation where the commanders are going to do something before Mayday really has an opportunity to like step in? Like I don't know if it's going to save Janine, this idea that Bell, aka Commander Joan Orion, has some twisted obsession with her. And like, is he going to try to keep her safe? And if so, like, that's still not really that much better a situation for her.
Well, here's the thing, right? There's a couple things going into this episode. One, there's like this huge lockdown that's going on at Jezebel's in general. So is it going to be up and running in a week when it's time that the commanders are just all going to be like, yeah, you know, this thing happened a week ago, but we're good to go back to Jezebel's now. It's safe. It's fine. I don't know that they will feel that it's fine to all be at the same place a week later after this has happened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And then on the other hand, you've got Mayday, who now haven't heard from June or Moira, so they don't know what's going on. And Mayday in general is just not that well organized. And they're not really thinking about other people. They really are just like, we need to get the commanders. This is the way that it's got to be. We even heard them kind of say, some of the women go at Jezebel's. It's just the way, you know, it is. Sometimes that's going to happen. And if they don't hear back from June and Moira, they just may think, okay, they got, or maybe they're dead or whatever, but the plan is still moving forward anyways.
I feel like they have to have a contingency like that where
they're a bit reckless.
They are a bit reckless, and they have to be aware because of your own recklessness, Mayday, as I'm talking to you now, you got to know that things are not always going to go well, and if people die, people die. Now I sound like I'm Drago from Rocky, but it's just, I do feel like we are in this situation where they could potentially do something reckless. Lives could be on the line as a result of all of that. Like, that is sort of the really terrible stuff we have to prepare for here.
And also talking about preparing, I feel like going into this episode, now that Serena is engaged, I feel like there's going to be some wedding planning coming together.
Okay, tinfoil hat. This is, all right.
Or maybe straight to the wedding.
There might be some wedding planning. There could also be a wedding in this episode or the one after that. I'm just going to throw this out there at this point. There is no better situation to try to stage some sort of chaos if you are June, if you are Mayday, than the middle of Serena's wedding. Because with Wharton being a high commander, there's going to be a lot of other commanders there. There's going to be a lot of people potentially distracted. And I
Yep.
think maybe Game of Thrones in particular has just sort of ruined
Mm.
television weddings for me for all time, where I think any sort of dangerous world like this, the moment you have something, this is an opportunity. The opportunity is going to be there. And Serena, if you ever want a chance to, I hesitate to say redeem yourself because we've already went over this. Like, I don't think Serena's like really redeemable, but if you want to make an interesting choice and help to destroy Gilead, having you be in on a plan where they cause all this chaos at your own wedding, this would be the most entertaining thing ever to me. I would love every single second of it, and the commanders probably wouldn't see it coming.
Absolutely. I just don't have any faith in Serena after everything that she has gone through in Canada with
Yeah.
her son and on the run to come back. And that conversation with Lydia in this last episode was just a very telling that
Yeah.
nothing has really changed. Oh, did you even think about what happens with the handmaids afterwards? No. Okay, cool. We know where you are. And you seem to not really get what's going on now either. She's really just in her own space. She's being romanced in a place where that's not really a thing. It's kind of
Yeah.
like you're matched. Commander, wife, okay, you guys are together, Naomi Lawrence style. This whole you're getting flowers, you're dancing in the street, you're having this library, the romance of it all is sweeping her away. The fact that she thinks she has a choice is sweeping her away.
It's so true. And this is why her and Wharton are the big X factors to me entering this episode more than anybody else. Because it's like, if you're Commander Lawrence, if you don't go along with Mayday and June at this point, then I just think you have rocks running around in your brain because these other people want to kill you. So it's just like, you can't do that anymore. But they cast Josh Charles for a reason. This is not a, unknown actor. I gotta think that he has some sort of huge role to play one way or another. And it can't just be trying to sweet talk Serena Joy. It's like there's gotta be something more here.
No, I think it's either he is the big mastermind behind getting everybody back, closing the borders, bringing Gilead back to its former self, or big tinfoil hat. He's an insider working with Mayday, and he's like a high commander that's in this big spot, but he is working with the outside in the rebellion. And what he's actually saying to Serena is true, that he does want to make change. And he's kind of trying to test the waters with her a little bit. Maybe we were seeing him testing the waters with Nick a little bit to kind of be like, I know what you did, wink, wink. You need to go take care of that, wink, wink. This guy is talking, wink, wink, right? Like,
Yeah.
is he saying it because he's testing Nick to kind of be like, clean up your mess? Or is it, hey, I kind of have an idea of what's going on, so button yourself up.
We are going to find out, hopefully sooner rather than later, but that is where we are entering The Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Episode 6. Are you guys hoping for a big surprise from this episode title surprise? Let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button for more, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. As Jess said, we are covering exclusively there Criminal Minds Evolution and Murderbot coming up. Thank you guys so much for your support. We really appreciate that, and we'll see you here next time.